Good morning, everybody. Morning, Wojciech. Morning, Danny. Morning, Marco. Morning, TT. Morning, Mubo. How are we all doing? Happy Friday. It is PPI day. I thought there was something else that happening today for some reason. I was building it up there and it didn't work, did it? Yeah, okay, so it's PPI day. I thought it was CPI day yesterday, wasn't it? It's because I wasn't streaming. Morning, Virginia. Morning, Noob. Morning, Evil. Morning, Joe. So yeah, today we've had GDP for the pound, came out very positive. So the pound basically having a very small rally, not a lot, as you can see. Didn't really do an awful lot of impact. An hourly chart. So yeah, there it is. Basically, the news today for the pound. Market's really not bothered about GDP because it's all changing. There's no real indicator in any fundamental at the moment, but that may well change. We might get back to normal. You never know. It's only China that's in trouble at the minute. So yeah, your push there is on the that GDP number. Yesterday we had CPI, which all came out negative, but the US dollar didn't really move, so not a lot happening there really. As you can see, it's all just still down. The only other thing we've got today is the PPI figures. So we've got Michigan later. Michigan may move it, but yeah, that's about it. So there's not much point in looking at any news particularly today. Today's session is really about a recap of the week. Don't really know where to start. There's been so much this week. Fear ingredient index is jumped up to 8. That's weird. Normally you jump down to 8. Excuse me, because we don't normally get to 8. But we were down at 4, so lowest reading it's ever had. So yeah, big spike up in the market, but obviously not necessarily an indication of a reversal. So thanks for subscribing, Rommel. Welcome aboard. Morning, Gregors, Andrew, Peter, Themba, Chris. How we doing? Right, so we're going to look basically today at what's happened this week, look through the FX pairs, obviously trade the indices this morning, see how the opens go. Fantastic day yesterday for ORB. Had a really bad day on Wednesday because obviously that was the fallout after all the trade tariffs and everything. The market kind of went into a bit of a chop mode. Obviously, momentum breakout strategies don't perform in chop. So that's what we had. And you're going to get days every now and again that are going to be that choppy. But the beauty of the ORB EA is obviously when that changes, it just grabs the lot back. So very nice big day yesterday. So far this morning, there's not a lot of movement at the moment. So this is the 5-minute range going in here. We've got a minute left. Very small DAX range. So unlikely we're going to get any trades today. But we will see. We need obviously give the market 10, 15 minutes to open up and see where we go. But not doing an awful lot in a minute, is it? I'll hang around here for another 30 seconds. So just wait for the 5-minute initial range to go in, and we'll see if we get a trade off of that. Morning, Jean-Roger. How are we doing? So, yeah, this week, obviously, the main news we've had, obviously, is the Trump tariffs being removed again, or rather paused, which is the same as removing, because he was told, obviously, that he's an idiot and what he's doing is crashing the markets. So he told all his mates to buy up all the stocks, and then he pumped the market back up again. So everybody that is a billionaire made more billions, and everybody else is screwed, which is great. So yeah, no 5-minute range today. So we'll see. I'll come back to that in a minute. So that was the main news, obviously, we had this week. There's been tons and tons of news every single day. One of the main things that's happened this week is the Fed have said that it's likely what Trump is doing is going to drive inflation back above 3% very quickly. So as we know, we've been dropping interest rates slowly in the US and in the UK. That 4.5% now because the CPI numbers are down, which would indicate normally that we would drop interest rates, the Fed are now forecasting that to rise again. So we're going to go back above 3. So we're currently sitting at the 2.5 annually, or 2.4 now. As that goes back up there, it means they cannot drop interest rates. So Trump wants nothing but interest rates down. The Fed are turning around and saying, sorry, we can't do that. So there's a bit of a flare-up yesterday with the Fed, Powell specifically, and I think it's going to come to a head. Trump will just kick Powell out somehow. I don't know. He will do it somehow, doesn't he? That's what he does. But yeah, so there's a lot of friction within the US between government and the Fed at the minute. But current tariffs are huge. Obviously, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out. But basically, China's now got these huge 145% tariffs. Everybody else has got a blanket 10%. So it's all calmed down. And as you can see from the US markets, we had that huge pump, which happened on Wednesday, which has not undone everything. Obviously, it undid a lot. So this is your gap down there. We came back and filled half of that gap, but obviously we collapsed back down again yesterday. So today is an absolutely critical day for the US markets. This is going to really, I think, today tell us whether we're in a bull or a bear market now. I'm pretty sure we're in a bear market, but you never know. So these tariffs are really going to hit the US. So that is potentially what we're looking at now. So going back into a new bear market, same as we had in 2022 after we came out of COVID. It was a year long. What he's done, if he doesn't undo it, is going to really hurt the economy. I think the damage is done anyway. He's screwed every country. Now every country is going to have zero faith in dealing with the US. They're not interested. The US is basically being run by a load of crooks now, so we're not interested. We'll just leave you to get on with yourself. And obviously we won't sell your stuff unless you want to do it at a reasonable rate. And if you don't want to do it at a reasonable rate, you won't buy it. Basically, good luck manufacturing everything and selling it to your people in the US for the prices you buy it at now. Not going to happen. So we've all basically, I think he's shot himself in the foot, big style. So potentially going into a bear market. So looking basically for the short moves to be longer, faster and harder than the buys. I've noticed this week specifically with ORB, these days, we were trying to break highs and we were breaking highs, trying to break highs and failing a lot. So there is a hell of a lot more bullish upside resistance than there was previously, which is obviously the inverse to what we normally have in stock markets. So bear markets obviously tend to be more volatile, way more volatile. If you go back and look at the last bear market we had here, and you look at the size of the candlesticks and the movements in the bear market, yeah, and then you look at a bull market, yeah, this is a typical bull market. We just grind higher as stocks and everything happen, everything's nice, but bear market swings are huge, 2 to 3 times. So ADR will expand 2 to 3 times normal size in a bear market. Obviously, this is even bigger bear market than we had here. So if this is the start of a bear market, God help us. Yeah. It will recover. It always does. You have to. There's no way it can't recover, because as long as businesses are in business and businesses are making profit, indices will be bullish. There's nothing you can do about that, because as the 100 companies in here perform, if 10 of them perform badly and their stock prices collapse, another 10 will replace them that are doing well. It will always recover. It will always go up. But you'll have periods which will stagnate, and this is what a bear market is basically. So that's potentially what we're going into now. I got mail. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. 10-minute range is no good as well today. So again, ranges are too small based on current. What am I using? Yeah, I'm back to a 10. 10's all right, but yeah, not really a lot of volume this morning. So 30-minute ranges may be the order of the day today. We'll see what happens. But somebody asked yesterday about the ORB and about adjusting it for these conditions. Morning, Dennis. Morning, Evil. The live without camera box feels off. Oh, hello. I didn't realise I didn't have a camera. There you go. Sorry, I didn't realise the camera wasn't on. Yeah, don't know. Didn't work. They've done updates on stuff and stuff just breaks. I just can't be bothered with it. You can hear my voice. You don't need to look at me. It's probably better not looking at me, to be honest. That was me asking. Yeah, so adjusting the settings. I mean, if you're finding, like yesterday, if you look at yesterday's trades, I had a lovely Dow yesterday. Nice clean break to the downside. S&P, there was no trade on yesterday because the ranges were not right, but it still broke downwards lovely, and so did the Nasdaq. So this is the thing with any strategy, specifically with this one. If you run a permutation test, as I have, and you test everything with a minimum range from 0.05, which is 5% of ADR, all the way up to 20% of ADR and 30% of ADR, and then you test maximum ranges, and you get 80% of them come back generating profit, you've got to pick one. Which one is going to be the right one each day? No idea. But if you are worried about missing these moves, you can drop that minimum range down and you can expand that maximum range out. So if it opens really volatile and huge, there's a good chance it might well continue volatile and huge. So make that maximum range 50% of ADR, not 40. If you're worried about not getting in on the move because the range size is too small at the open, as we are now, drop it. Just make it smaller. Yeah. So instead of using 20%, use 10%, but it's a 0.1. And that means it will need much less movement at the open to give you a range that is better. The downside to that, obviously, is you can get whipsawed out very easily, which is why we don't use those small ranges normally. But this is not a normal market, is it? So if you're going to adjust your minimum ranges, you're going to want to adjust your stop losses. Yeah, because if your stop loss is 0.15 and your minimum range is 0.1, so let's say that's a 10% range, it's going to place the pending orders for you, but it's going to place the stop losses outside the range, which means you will potentially get hedged. If you're in the US, you can't do that. But in the UK, you can do that. So you might want to adjust your stop losses to be 0.9, smaller than that. There is no right or wrong. It's just different stuff, isn't it? So, you're never going to know day by day what the best thing to do is with settings in any EA, whether it's this one or any one that you use, because every day is going to be different. Today, on the DAX, there's no 10-minute ranges. The 15 may well be right. What we're looking at? 15.5. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to take a 15-minute DAX ORB and I will get a 15-minute FTSE, which is exactly right. This is, it's doing what it should do. It's waiting for a decent size so that we can get in on it with a stop loss that is somewhere in the middle-ish. So it basically is saying, right, we're open bearish. So let's see if we get a pullback and drop. If this is a fake move, we'll bracket that range. And if it wants to pop back out because that's a fake out, we'll get onto that. But if we had taken this today, it would have worked. But other days, most days, when you get sort of something like that, it pushes down a little bit, then it pushes up a little bit, then it pushes down a little bit more. You just get a double stop out. That's why we have those ranges in place, a minimum and a maximum. The maximum is much less important because the chances of this opening more than 40% of ADR, very rare. If it does open more than 40% of ADR within 5, 10 or 15 minutes, we want to sit back and go, why's that happened? Yeah, because it's too much movement. They've done half of their daily range before we've even got going. So there's something going on, isn't there? So you're just looking for trading the norm as much as possible. The extremes we want to stay out of. Or if it's not moving, we don't want to get involved because if it's not moving, it's chopping. If it's chopping, it kills us, usually, doesn't it? Yeah, bad days. So there you go. So there's your 15s in. So I'll be taking a 15 on both today. We'll see where we go, but there's not a lot of volume. So, you know, adjust it. So if you want more trades, drop that number down. But just be aware you're going to need to adjust your targets and your stops potentially. I've got it on the 15 at the moment. So I've dropped it a little bit. It's normally on 20. So I want 20% of the daily range in. And then I'm looking to try and get onto the move after that. But up to you. There is no right or wrong, just different, as you know. I keep saying that every day. And I will keep saying it because it's never going to be not true. Morning, Mark. Right, so ADRs today, there's nothing, well, depends which ADR you're using. I'm using, on the dashboard at the moment, I'm kind of monitoring ADR 10, which is our normal ADR. On my chart at the moment, I'm using ADR 3, just so that I can see the differential between them. Obviously, ADR 3 is looking at the last 3 days worth of range. Until we get a day within 3 days, let's rephrase that. Until I get 3 days in a row of normalized, if you like, price action, I'm going to leave it on 3, because obviously we're getting these days at the moment where we've got massive movement, compared to normal ranges. These are normal ranges. That's not quite a normal range, but that's a normal daily range. Was before the tariffs. So since the tariffs, the range has obviously expanded dramatically. So I'm monitoring the last 3 days worth of price action. And I'm taking an average of that, because I'm assuming, until proven otherwise, that we are going to continue to be volatile because of what's happening. When it calms down and we're not volatile anymore, switching back to a 10 is not a problem, is it? Because you'll be taking, if you like, for example, now, if you take into account a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you use ADR 6, for example, you are going to be measuring from the very start to yesterday's volatility, this nutty period. So when we come around to next, so today was going to be day 7, isn't it? So when we come around to next Wednesday, if it's still going nuts, ADR 10 is the norm, isn't it? We're back to the norm, 2 weeks worth of nuts. So you just got to adjust a little bit accordingly to how you feel at the moment, because obviously with what's going on, it's probably not going to stop. What we do know is it's going up and down a lot, but it's not very directional at the minute, is it? So on the ADR 10s, we've got Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Now you see my ADR 3 hasn't hit yet. But ADR 10 has hit. So it's coming back off of support at ADR 10 at the moment on the Aussie New Zealand. Euro pound. Odd spike at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. Very big rally at 1 o'clock in the morning. What was that? I'm not sure what that was. That was on the euro, look. So we had a large buy into the euro at 3 o'clock or 1 a.m. Quite sure what that was, but euro surges up 1.6 amid broad dollar weakness. Just Asian markets putting money in the euro and withdrawing it from the dollar by the looks of things. That's all that was, just a bit of a spike. But that was an ADR spike, obviously there. So bit of a spike there, and euro US dollar, obviously, which we're on at the moment. So this one has also hit ADR 3, but I mean, you wouldn't have got in on that. The speed that came down to there, you would have managed to make that. But you look at the lower time frame, you didn't get a reversal alert on it because obviously that was the last bear candle before the spike. So that was the new spike, if you like, or rather the dump order, whichever whatever they put in. There's your reversal point there, so not really any good today. Weekly ranges, absolutely pointless. Monthly ranges now, absolutely pointless. This month, basically, from a mean reversion perspective, mean reverting monthly, weekly averages is absolutely useless to us because, this is equivalent to COVID, isn't it? So you just sit back and go, right, wait for it all to calm down, and then we'll re-normalize ourselves when it has, which I'm hoping will be next week. The thing that we've got now hanging over us, so everybody else now has got blanket tariffs of 10%. So from a trade perspective with the US, everywhere else in the world is slightly worse off than they were last week, but manageable. Yeah, it's manageable. 10% is manageable. The rest of the world can suck it up and still survive. What the rest of the world can't suck up is 145% tariffs on China. Yeah, that is going to have a massive impact worldwide because it's going to impact the Chinese economy. It's going to impact the Chinese export flow. China are the largest exporter on the planet. Everything is manufactured there. Everything is exported from there everywhere. If their costs are going up to export to the US, they have two options. First option is to retaliate back, which is what they're doing with the US to make sure that they can keep exporting. And as long as people in the US are looking to buy, that's fine. They just pay more for it. But the likelihood is that's not going to happen. So what they're going to need to do is find a home for this surplus stock they now have because they're still manufacturing stuff, but they now need to get rid of it because it's not going to the US. It's got to go elsewhere. So the likelihood is they will offer reduced tariffs or better trading conditions to Europe and every other country out there to get rid of this stock surplus they've got. Yeah. So it's going to have an impact on every single country and therefore every single economy and therefore every single currency. So all currency pairs are going to be affected by the China tariffs. So the question we have is, for normalizing this market, when are the China tariffs going to sort themselves out? And that is obviously the big question that we have at the moment, which we can't get an answer to. So for the foreseeable volatility across the board, where the volatility is going to be, very, 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 very hard to predict. So bond markets are all over the place. Obviously, we know the stock markets are all over the place. Currency individual pairs are all over the place as well. So it's just a massive volatility spike. So intraday trading, short term, is basically where the money is going to get made at the moment. So when these big spiky moves are happening, if you're on them, you're going to make loads of money. If you're sitting around using longer term trading strategies like position trading or swing trading, and you're trying to pick a directional bias, or if you're a trend trader, absolutely dead in the water. You can't do anything with it because there's no way to predict price direction at the moment because it changes literally every day. There was one day this week, we had 3 different interest rate futures predictions within a day. Yeah, so there was one that came out that said interest rates were going to change in May. Within half an hour, it changed to June. And then later that evening, it changed to July. We're now back at May again. Yeah, so within 48 hours, the interest rate futures have predicted 4 different directions. That never happens. Usually we have a quarterly forecast and we just follow it. You cannot trade trend at the moment. You cannot trade fundamentals. It's just not possible. You can do it, and you will either be lucky or you won't. At the end of the day, you've got a 50-50 shot. It's going up or it's going down. Yeah, we know that. But at the moment, what it's doing is it's going up and down a lot, way bigger than normal, but it's not actually taking any directional route. It's just moving a lot, which means lower time frame trading is going to benefit from that. Stopping out on the DAX, short. Oh, no, so I'm not short on the DAX. I'm short on the FTSE. So probably going to stop out on that FTSE. DAX, no trades yet. So I will be getting back in the DAX, the FTSE, if I can get my words out today. If this does stop out, which it looks like it's about to, I'll be getting back in on a 30 range break. If it's just a pullback short, and this is the whole purpose of this 30-minute range, the 15-minute doesn't go, or the 5 or the 10, and it pulls back and stops you out, you get another crack at the short. So if it is going to be a market structure pullback, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, you get to re-go on the lower low again. Yeah, so, and obviously the DAX will just be a first entry. We will see. 439. It's good. So that's all working. Right. So FX wise, I'm going to whiz through and have a look at them today. If there's any questions you've got on anything, let me know. Anything about trading in general. This is meant to be a Q&A session this morning on Fridays and this afternoon as well. I'm back on again this afternoon. We'll trade the US session. And again, sort of end of week recap, if you like, Q&A type thing. So ADRs, obviously, we've gone through those. RSI extensions, as I said, at the minute, you know, trying to mean revert anything is a very risky proposition, unless you were lucky enough to be one of Trump's mates and he told you that the market was going to pump. Yeah, but other than that, this US dollar is at the moment dead in the water. So trying to get a position built or a swing low in the US is just not going to happen. You want to be on the US short, but trying to get into it short is going to be very difficult because it's not really pulling back much. You can see here I've got the 20 MA on this one. 20 MA is the most common trend moving average, so strong trend. So strong trend is a 20. As you can see, it's honoring it really, really nicely at the moment for the last few days. So, but you know, with these parabolic moves, you don't get a pullback into it. So breakout trades are the best thing at the minute. It's you get on the break, you just hold the break and you go with it. Shut your eyes, hold on tight. That's basically the best way to make money in this type of market. Until this type of market goes back to normal, which it will do. But right now, no idea. So if you look at the price of gold as well, obviously gold through the roof, inverse US. So that potentially not really going to stop. It's the biggest, strongest rally we've had in gold for a long time. Yeah. You know, these moves will end up though, you know, so they will stop. And when they stop, they will come down fast and they will come down hard. Yeah. So that needle, that fear and greed needle, when it swings like super fast. So it's the, as I've used the analogy many times before, it's the climbing up the stairs, falling down the elevator shaft. There's a lot of people out there building very large positions in one direction with a very high profit figure on them. As soon as they see that profit figure start to drop, they will jump ship. When they jump ship, that profit figure with everybody else will drop, which means the price will drop, which means everybody here that didn't get out here will see them now down here. They will get out and it just exponentially moves faster and faster. It's a snowball effect. So we're gradually grinding away, making tons of money. As soon as we see our money disappear, we jump ship. And that's why you get these climbs up the stairs and then these fall down the elevator shaft, typically a 50% retracement within 48 hours. That's what's coming at some point. Good luck timing it at the moment, though. That's the one thing you cannot do with any market. Time it. It's random. Morning, Ismet. Morning, Ace. Gregors. On Wednesday, everybody was Donald Trump's friend. Were they? He tweeted, it's a great time to buy and remove tariffs a couple of hours later. Yeah, it's called insider trading and he will be investigated for it. And hopefully this time round, they will lock him up for life. Yeah, he's a convicted criminal. Let me just put this into perspective for those in the US that didn't get it first time round. He is a convicted criminal, not just once, but multiple times. You decided to put him in charge of your country. Do you think he will go, I won't be illegal again, I won't do anything wrong again, I won't break any more rules again? Or do you think he's just going to carry on reverting to the type he's had his entire life? Yeah? They don't come much bigger mafia bosses than Donald Trump. You put him in charge of your country. Did you expect it to go well? Anyway, I'm not the first person to say it. I won't be the last person to say it. But hopefully the Fed will now be able to investigate him for, I mean, I've posted it this morning in the Discord group, yeah? he's dumped the market. As the market was dumping, he said, I am not doing this on purpose. He says, now's a good time to buy to everybody out there. And then he reverses the market. So he puts the tariffs on to dump the market, manipulation, tells everybody to buy it, removes the tariff to pump the market, manipulation, slaps China tariffs on to freeze the market, manipulation. He then stands in the White House Oval Office with billionaire mates around him saying to someone, this guy made 900 million. This guy made this. He said on live television, he manipulated the market and made people billions. Do you need any more proof, America? Are you that stupid? Sorry, but the guy stood up on telly and told you he just manipulated the market and made everybody billionaires. Oh, yeah, but that's fine. He's not going to dump gun law. Anyway, so that's the world we're living in, and we have to deal with it from a financial perspective. It ain't going to change as long as he's in. So this is just going to carry on. And, you know, last time I said, before Trump got in, I traded through the last Trump premiership. And I said exactly what was going to happen, and it's happening. Yeah, it's happening to a bigger degree than I was expecting, but it's happening the same way. The guy opens his gob, the market moves. That's basically what it is. It's like, what shall I do today? Sell it? Yeah, okay. 25% tariffs on China. Bought it? Yeah. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Complete criminal. Utterly criminal. It's just what happens, isn't it? Trump, to be fair, he's only bankrupt 6 times. He's only been bankrupt 6 times. I know. Normal human beings don't go bankrupt multiple times and then go back to being millionaires. There's something at foot there, isn't there? You can't, as a normal human being, it's not possible to make that much money in a short period of time, lose it all, and then get it all back without doing something slightly below the line. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just a really good businessman, then there's really bad business, and then a really good businessman, then a really bad businessman, and he keeps just doing that. But from the market's perspective, we're not really interested in that. We're interested in just making money. And it's very hard to make money when you've got no directional bias, unless you're flipping a coin, which is basically what I'm doing at the moment, flipping a coin, and then it's going and I'm making money. So I'm taking tiny little losses when the coin flips wrong. When the coin flips right, I just sit there and I don't touch it. I let it go. It's what you do. It's all you can do in this market, which is why ORB and breakout style strategies are so good. There we go. The FTSE 30-minute ORB is in. So be shorting that if it drops, short on the DAX. Well, that's not very convincing today, is it? So it might be another choppy one, but we'll see what happens in the US markets this afternoon if those don't work out. So oil as well. Oil price rebounded, the same as everything. So this is a really good sort of lesson, if you like, this market in confluence of currency pairs, commodities, etc. So, you know, the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are commodity pairs. Yeah, so they're main commodity exports. So when oil is dropping, Aussie and New Zealand will drop. When oil pops, Aussie, New Zealand pop. Yeah, so it shows you how the market moves together. Stock indices linked to commodities as well. Yeah, so it's all the same thing, the market, which is why, you know, you need to be wary of what you're trading. If you're trading, if you go long on the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and you go long on oil at the same time, you're doing the same thing. So you're just 2xing your risk. Yeah, so this is a really good, because it's so exaggerated at the moment, it's a really good way of describing how these things are linked. So with all markets at the moment, the question is this a pullback short or is this a reversal? Yeah, if it's a reversal, we're coming back to here. If it's a pullback short, we're going to break that low. So right now is the decision-making point for a lot of investors out there, long and short term. That Wednesday, people got absolutely destroyed. There were short sellers galore in this market, shorting from that who all got taken out, liquidated on that move. So they're going to be looking to get back in quite aggressively to try and recoup some of those losses. And these are central banks we're also talking about with a lot of money in here. It's an absolute crux point today. And I think University of Michigan this afternoon is probably going to be the flashpoint, unless Trump says something before that. But we're either W pattern reversal, there's your reversal alert gone in there, and this is the retest long, or we're just putting back 51 to 68, depending on where you put your fibs, into the next short leg down. So this pullback here is it. Yeah. So all of these markets at the moment are in exactly the same boat. They are in exactly the same price action patterns. Yeah. Oil is the same pretty much. Gold is kind of the anomaly that's just gone parabolic. Gold is a safe haven commodity. And obviously safe havens at the moment are getting absolutely piled into. So all Swiss franc pairs. Yeah. So all the Swiss franc pairs obviously are rallying like crazy. There's the Swissy against the yen, euro against the Swiss, all down. But obviously we had that pop, and that pop basically, sorry, yeah, let's look at the New Zealand Swiss. So that pop basically being undone again. So every single trade tariff shot in any direction is going to power up the Swiss, it's going to power up the yen, it's going to power up gold, it's going to drop oil, and it's going to drop the stock indices. So, you know, it's more important than ever to just literally pay attention to what comes up here. If it's red and the market suddenly spikes in one direction, you just get on that direction. You do not try and mean revert it. You get on the same direction as the spike when the red news comes out. Because at the moment, 90% of what is coming out on here, and there's obviously a few anomalies we've had, which probably are pump dump opportunities to investigate again, but most of them are going to be right. So you got the old buy the rumor, sell the news theory, which is normal news trading. This is not normal, is it? So that happened. That was talk about it happening. Do you remember back on Monday, wasn't it? Yeah. On Monday, we had that news event come out that was like, Trump's going to pause the tariffs for 90 days. And then it was immediately the White House came out and said, I don't know what you're talking about. That's absolute fake news. Obviously, it wasn't. And then obviously we continued down. And then 2 days later, bang, he does exactly what that was. So it wasn't fake news. Someone got wind of it, was shut down, gun to the head. If you don't do this, we're going to come find your family. Usual mobster stuff that they do. And then it happened. So, you know, what do you do with this information? You can't mean revert it, because most of the time it is actually something that's going to happen. So the people that mean reverted this, dead. Yeah, you know, it's one of those situations you're just stuck in at the minute, and you've got to just sit through it. I was contemplating yesterday while I was coding. I was trading yesterday, and it was a choppy old day. Managed to pull the P&L back nicely to profit yesterday. I was contemplating basically taking next week off and going I'm going to sit back and just watch this thing now, because it's turns your hair grey trying to trade this, because there's so many swings, and the swings are so much bigger. The problem people have in these types of markets, me included, is holding. So I was on this. Actually, I was on the Dow. So I was on the Dow when this happened, down here. Yeah. I got out here. Yeah, you can see one of my orders there. I got out here. I got in on a break of that, I think it was. And literally half an hour later, it just went. And I was like, okay, I was making dinner. I was getting dinner and stuff there. And all of a sudden, I came back to my computer. I was like, right, shut it. Can't hold it, because you've been chopped to death most of the time at the moment. And it's just these one moves which are making you. So you sit there getting chopped around. All of a sudden, you get one break, you get on it. And it's really hard to hold it, but you know it's going to go 3 times further than normal. So it's a very difficult thing to do. The best thing to do in this type of market, if you're getting in on low time frames, is monitor on higher time frames, because higher time frames filter out all that price action you see which scare you out of your trades. If you want to hold them, go up. You have a new microphone. Sounds very good. No? Haven't changed anything. There was an update. Every time there's an update, something changes. This morning, the camera didn't work for the first 10 minutes of the stream. Anyway, so yeah, so looking at all these markets at the moment, Australian dollar sounds different but better. That's good. As long as it's an improvement, that's the good thing. But at the moment, basically, obviously we've got the big drop, which we are either reversing or continuing. Yeah. So I think, as you can see, what's happened since the undoing, if you like, is we've kind of just stalled out. So the market has got nowhere near enough confidence to go back to how we were. It's waiting to see what happens specifically with the China tariff situation. So it's basically now China's turn today to come back with something or not. If they don't, we're just going to sit around. If they do, we're going to go like that, assuming obviously they reciprocate the tariff, which, you know, no reason not to, is there? So everything you want to be looking for longs on, if that's going to happen, is things like the Swiss, the oil, the Swiss, gold and yen, and you want to be selling stock markets, selling commodities, oil, etc. Aussie dollar, Swiss. So the best things to trade at the moment, because obviously what's mainly moving are commodities and stocks. Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc and the yen are going to get the biggest movements like this. Yeah, so the biggest swings in both directions, because as commodities drop, that commodity money goes into Swiss franc safe haven. So this gets a drop and a pop at the same time, double the movement. Yeah. So anything you're trading at the moment with the Swiss franc or the yen involved from a forex perspective is going to get the most volatility, because they're piling into and out of the safe havens. But from a directional perspective, obviously, you know, support and resistance may work, may not. How much normal price action is going on at the moment in banks and institutions, very hard to tell. It seems to me that we're not really testing support resistance very much at the moment. We blow through it very easily, or we don't quite get to it. So, you know, it's working to an extent, but it's very, very woolly. You know, normally when we get to support resistance levels, you miss it by a few pips type thing, because there's orders sitting there to protect that price point. So you get roughly around it and then it pops. You're going to blow through it by a long way. So everything is just more volatile, bigger. So when you're doing, you know, if you're an ICT trader and that's a stop run, it's going to be a bigger one than normal. Yeah, it's just going to move a little bit further than it normally does. So propulsion gap, yeah. If they're big, they will possibly hold, because that is where the sell move started. But it's not as if the market is wanting to remain short. It's gone short because it's scared. It's not gone short for a financial reason. It's gone short just because it's scared and it needs to get its cash out. Doesn't mean there's a load of orders sitting at that point like you would normally find in the markets, where they're driving it. They're not driving it, they're being driven. So propulsion gaps, again, these things may or may not work. Very difficult to tell. Yeah. That is absolute typical price action on a large news event, isn't it? But it's not, is it? It's an undoing of a previous news event. So very, very, very difficult conditions at the moment. CAD yen, very, very sideways. Again, commodity, oil export, sitting around very, very nicely. Swiss yen, obviously one of the big movers at the moment to safe havens. Normally they battle each other. So you get a run into both safe havens at the same time. They both become bullish, which means they both cancel each other out. But as you can see, the Swiss is winning by a long shot at the moment. So the yen is less of a safe haven now because of the interest rate rises. and the Swiss are dropping interest rates probably back down to zero on the next meeting. So it's going to be much more attractive to stick your money in the Swiss franc at the moment than it is the yen, but they're still both attractive areas for safe haven. You've got, this is normal price action, and this is what we're in. Yeah, so this is the new norm until we say otherwise. So all we're doing is really normal price action, it seems, but 10x it. ADRs through the roof. So all the European pairs, we've got the tariffs being paused from Europe. So Europe basically turned around and said, okay, if you're going to pause 90 days, we won't come back and retaliate next week, as we said we were going to. We'll come to the table. Yeah, so it looks to me as if the European tariffs probably will not get executed. They are there, they are planned, and they are ready to go. So if Trump does decide, actually, screw it, yeah, I'm going to put those tariffs back, screw the 90 days, i.e. what he, look out on his Truth Social for, now is a good time to sell the market. Yeah, it's a signal. So if that happens, obviously the Europeans will immediately come in with tariffs and reciprocate. They're ready to go. And apparently they've got a very big bomb, tariff bomb, basically. So structure at the moment obviously broke to the downside on that news. We broke back up again because we're retracing on that. That is potentially the move. Lagarde said that they are going to continue to drop interest rates, but every central bank has said probably the next one we're going to freeze, because you're not going to suddenly drop interest rates because you've got no idea what's around the corner. So interest rate freezes everywhere, meaning sideways markets. If the tariff war starts again, it is likely they will have to drop interest rates to stimulate some kind of growth, which, yeah, is great. But it will devalue the housing market. It will devalue lots of other stuff as well. It will send inflation through the roof. Just got it under control. So, this is bearish, the euro. However, at the minute, all over the place, isn't it? So yeah, short-term trading, directional bias on everything is just wherever the hell it wants to go. So get on and hold on tight, really, is the order of the day at the moment. And don't be afraid if you're trading low time frames. Market reversal alert indicator is a very, very good indicator. I mean, it's obviously market structure. So if these moves that start are not necessarily parabolic, but they are very strong trends that we're getting into intraday, the reversal alerts indicator gives you the start potentially of that trend. However, if that is not the right one, you get stopped out and you'll get a new reversal alert when it next signals that the sellers have taken control in this case. So, and obviously the retests are the lower high going in. Yeah. So this is a fantastic indicator to use on low time frames. Either use price action reversal patterns. Don't go bearish engulfings and bullish engulfings. They just are unpredictable. 3-bar reversals, that's what you want to be looking for. Yeah. So wait for the market to pause, stall out, and come back the other way. Shortly after that, you'll get a reverse alert, which is going to be the confirmation. Yeah. So small time frames, reversal alerts, and don't be afraid of being chopped out and get stopped out multiple times trying to get in. It is choppy. You are going to get chopped out and stopped out a lot, but when you get in, you hold it, because that will be 5, 10R. It won't be 2, 3R as normal. It's bigger, more parabolic. You can't time them. You just take them. And the ones that work, you just hold them. Yeah. This account yesterday was sitting at -50 at one point. It just takes that one kickstart to get you going, and everything starts to go. The P&L was flip-flopping around a little bit like it is here, up 9, down 7, open P&L. You got bits and pieces working, not working, and you just chop around a bit, and then all of a sudden the market gets going and everything gets going, and you get on everything because everything reverses at the same time. And you got to wait for that momentum to start, and you just go with that. That will get you back to a profit point. So it's timing the market is the hard part at the moment, but you will benefit if you hold it. And that's the key. Holding trades at the minute is taking advantage of these long moves. Reversal alert goes in. That one, I mean, a stop down there is too far, but you got 1.5 out of it. But you know, stick something like a 20% of ADR3 or a 10% of ADR3 or 15% of ADR3 on it, or even use ATR if you like. You know, just stick the ATR indicator on and look at what the ATR 10 is of the current time frame you're trading. Use ATR 10 of current price action, and use that as your stop. You know, there's a million ways to do it. None of them are right, none of them are wrong, because you've no idea where it's going. But use something that's not too tight at the minute, because it's a choppy market. We're getting these whacking great wicks going in. Candles are huge size. You know, there's a 3-bar reversal there. Look, beautiful. Push, pause, pull, entry, stop. Yeah, anything like that is going to work. You've also got a reversal alert in there, but it was there. Yeah, this is what I mean. So the reversal alerts are still going to work, but on some time frames, they're just not going to be as good as price action. But you know, sometimes they will be better than price action. It's impossible to tell what the best thing to use is at the moment. Pound, very difficult to call. It was kind of neutral before this all kicked off. We had Rachel Reeves putting in a new budget literally the day before Trump announced all the tariffs. And it looked like it was going to be kind of tough for the pound, but hope for the pound. So the upshot of it was fairly neutral pound, basically. Interest rates likely to still drop, therefore sort of bearish from that perspective, but good from an economic perspective, potentially. That all changed. So it's very hard to call the pound at the moment as to what is the bias. Obviously, there you go. So that's a great example, yeah. We just looked at the pound against the Canadian dollar, yeah. So this gives you a good idea of what the pound and the CAD are doing, and there is the Swiss franc. That's the safe haven run, yeah. So this is where your volatility comes in the Swissy and in the yen. Pound New Zealand, very volatile commodities. We're back to where we started. Beautiful M pattern reversal, but we're literally back to where we were on this one. So potentially this could just calm back down. But wait until the next tariffs come out. If it's New Zealand and pound to get affected, it's all going to change again, isn't it? Everything against the US dollar, up. Yeah, the US dollar is not going up. Yeah, this is not good for the US dollar. Yeah. I don't know why he thinks it could be, but it's not. Yeah, you are devaluing your currency to extents that have never happened before, to the point where we're just going to go to China. Yeah, this isn't working. Stop it. So buying, you've got to try and get in on it. That's the trouble. So with this type of thing, where you know the US dollar is likely to come down, you know the stock market's likely to come down, drop down to lower time frames and just take bullish reversal alerts. Yeah. If you get a bearish reversal alert, ignore it. Wait for the next bullish reversal alert. Take that one. Yeah, that is the more likely directional bias. So you can use higher time frame reversal alerts. This is the old strategy that I used to trade. I started trading the reversal alert stop loss strategy with higher time frame confluence. So when you get a higher time frame reversal alert long, the market is bullish. You wait for a bullish reversal alert on the lower time frame to enter. So H4, M15. So you drop down after that reversal alert's gone in onto the 15-minute time frame. You take a 15-minute reversal alert long. Yeah. It's the same old strategy. Remember I said yes on Wednesday, you're going to find stuff's going to hug the 20 because we are in strong trends. 20 is your friend when we're trending. So New Zealand dollar at the moment going to get hit by commodity, especially against the Swissy and things like that. So down on New Zealand dollar, down Australian dollar. This is a great one, isn't it? What I've just said, down Australian dollar, down New Zealand dollar. However, the New Zealand dollar is stronger than the US. That should tell you something. Commodity markets are crashing. Oil is crashing. Aussie's crashing. New Zealand's crashing. The US is crashing more. It's that bad. The US dollar is being beaten by the New Zealand dollar. That tiny little couple of islands, yeah, with Maoris on it, stronger than the US dollar. should tell you something, Trump. You got it wrong. US dollar CAD coming down against the Canadian dollar. CAD. Swiss down, obviously. Yen down, obviously. So there you go. So there's an overview of what's going on at the moment. It's directionally right now, if this all carries on, it's very easy to predict. But it's not, because it changes every day, doesn't it? So if your assumption is that he's going to keep trying to beat the world down, you keep going in the way that we're going at the moment. Yeah. So you keep selling the stock markets. You just take short signals on stocks. You take short signals on oil. You take short signals on the US dollar. Everything else, you buy it. Yeah. So against those. So that's basically the recap of the week. It's chaos. Market's broken short. So shorts working on FTSE and the DAX. Thanks for the follow, Mark. Welcome aboard. Harold, I am going to move to Dubai. VAT is 5%, corporation tax is 9%, and there's no tax on income. Wow, I'm going to move to Dubai. That's where you want to trade from. What's the time zone in Dubai? So Dubai is 3 hours ahead. So it means I can trade the London Open at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I can trade the New York Open at 5:30. I'd live there. And it's hot. I struggle with the alcohol thing though. Yeah, sounds good. I'll be up for that. I wish you a lot of luck there, and I hope you have good business years in Dubai. Better taxes like Germany, yeah. Trump needs to lower interest rates. Trump can't lower interest rates. The Fed lower interest rates. The refinance debt's incurred, yeah. This is why he wants that down so much. The thing that he's got wrong is the bond markets have lost faith in the US dollar. He was expecting to sell a load of bonds and bolster the US. The opposite's happened. Yeah, it's all blown up in his face. It really has. But then everybody saw that the first time he mentioned it. Everyone was like, that's not going to work. You know, it's never has done. There's never been a trade war that's worked. There's never been a winner in a trade war. You can't have a winner in a trade war. It's like firing rubber bullets at each other with bulletproof vests on. You keep firing as much as you like. No one's going to win, but you're going to run out of ammo at some point, and everyone else on the planet will have been sitting around getting poorer and poorer and poorer. That's what it does. Unless you're a billionaire, of course, and you can give a monkeys. What do you mean it's wiped off 400 billion off of my 25 trillion wealth? Who gives a shit? You've still got the rest of the trillions, haven't you? Doesn't affect you. Money makes money. Crooked money makes more money. Good day, GU. Trade in the desert? Well, might be a bit warm. Anyway. So ORBs today, off. We're off on the DAX. Let's look at targets. I'll leave my partial where it is in case we get a reaction here. Obvious spot today for a downside move on the DAX is here. So looking for a return to the origin of the undoing of the tariffs. Yeah. So this is the market unwinding positions in shorts, not necessarily buying stocks on confidence. Obviously, there is no confidence still. Yeah, if you're in the US, there's no confidence still. Germany and the UK will be dragged down through sector purchases in US stocks. So unfortunately, we become a fallout from everything that happens in the US stock market, because a lot of our Germany 30 is linked to Dow Jones stock manufacturing. A lot of that is manufacturing in the DAX. FTSE is mainly financial services, pharma, and large corporate export. Just gone up 10%. Even if you're, forget everything else that's happened in the last couple of days. If you are a large business turning over billions and someone knocks your bottom line by 10%, your stock price is going to collapse. Yeah, they're still knocked by 10%. We've still got 10% tariffs. Don't forget, we have still got 10%. My revenue's just dropped by 10%. I've got to do something about it. It's not going to help your share price. Yes, it's not the ridiculous ones, but it's still not good. Yeah, so keep doing what the market is doing. Go with momentum, go with breakout, go with trend at the minute until it's calmed down. And then mean reversion. And mean reversion will still work. It's just you're going to be in a lot more hot water, aren't you? And you're going to get it wrong a hell of a lot more. Yeah. Remember what I said, the last 5 years or so, I've been preaching mean reversion trading is the best thing in the world to do. It doesn't work in trends. What have we got? Huge, strong trending market. Yeah. You've got to adapt. You're not going to work very well on mean reversion right now. You are, if you take reversal alerts, for example, in line with current trend. That is still going to work, but that's not mean reversion. That is trend pullback trading. You are trading pullbacks. So you're mean reverting that move, if you like, but you're expecting it to go beyond. So it's market structure pullbacks is the way forward at the moment. I'm just going to I might leave it actually. Just toying with the idea of taking a partial on the DAX. Just to recoup that, and then I've got a runner on, but I think I might just go for the home run today. We've got some alerts going off. Euro US dollar. So US dollar's dropping further. Euro US dollar, 175% of its monthly range. Yeah, we are on the 11th of the month, right? We've done 175% of the normal monthly range on the Euro US dollar. The US dollar yen has just hit its monthly range. 11th day. So big weakness coming in the US this morning. Market's not happy. There we go. Hold the shorts on the stock market. China to increase tariffs on US goods to 125%. There you go. So that's exactly what I was just talking about. Literally 5 minutes ago. Rewind. That's what I just said. It's their turn to shoot. They just shot. There you go. So now 125. So Trump this afternoon. Back. So what's he on? 145. So what should we go? 170? I'll be on this afternoon. We might well know by the time I come on. But yeah, I'm going to go 170 this afternoon for Trump. When does it stop? It's just pointless. Waste of time. We'll ignore the US if it keeps imposing tariffs. What does that mean? Just imagine all the Chinese people now. If you want to make a meme, la, 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 I'm not listening to Trump. That's what they're going to do. Just go, no, 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 like you used to when your kids. It is. It's just a load of kids, isn't it, with a load of money. Anyway, so yeah, hold shorts. We talk about Darwin X0. Last streams, I guess. I don't know if this is the right place to talk about it further. I have an update. I don't know. Darwin X0, it's just another kind of prop, isn't it? On my ORB V3 EA, the day open and net profit do not show. The day open and net profit. Oh, the days open and net profit do not show. Could it be that I trade a ZAR account? No. I don't know. That's all this here. This is all one block of code, if you like. That is one block of code. You don't have that because this is a new version. So if you turn that on, all of that shows. I don't know why it wouldn't. Can't answer that one. Pass. Little bit of a pullback going on. Any update on the SIH? Not at the moment. No, haven't had a chance. I'm still working on ORB the new version of the opening range breakout and the new breakout strategy that I'm trading this one. I haven't had a chance to get SIH done. I've just got too much stuff on my plate at the moment. So it's on the list. When's the momentum breakout hitting the shelves? Don't know. When it's ready. I've got to get the logic done on this first. ORB, I spent all day yesterday reworking the logic on opening range breakout. And I'm at a point where I had to just take a break because my brain was fried. It's advanced logic and mathematics I'm dealing with, and it's just, you get burnt out. I was just yesterday at 4:30. I'd been working on it since about 10 or so yesterday morning. A good 6 hours of coding and logic testing, and it's still not right. So I'm not. This is the thing you don't see. I released something like the opening range breakout strategy. It took 3 months to develop and code the strategy. Yeah, it's not a fast thing. So you can ask me every week if you want to, but I would say 3 to 6 months because it's that long. I've got to test it. I've got to live test it. I've got to bug fix it. The stuff that I release is not, let's pop something on the marketplace and flog a load of shit. It's good. It works because I use it every day. Yeah, it's like my stuff doesn't come out in a couple of days. It comes out in a couple of weeks. Every version will take me weeks to develop because I do it right, rather than just pumping crap out. So it does take a while, unfortunately, but it will come out. It's, this again, this is far from being ready. It might look like it because it's producing beautiful profit, but it's not right. It's got there's a lot of stuff in here I can make much better. And that's what I'm working on. This is, once I've got the next version of opening range breakout done, which I'm hoping, I mean, it's Friday. I'm not going to get it done today because I've got another stream this afternoon, but probably Tuesday next week, I'll pick it back up again. If I can get that nailed on Tuesday next week, I'll be able to push the update out for that, and then I can focus on the breakout strategy. You kind of want it now though, because it's brilliant in this market. Is brilliant, but this could be the new norm. Don't forget, this volatility that we're seeing is huge movement based on what Trump says, and it's exactly the same as last time. Go and look at the VIX when Trump was in last time. It's all over the place. Yeah, this is normal. It's just bigger than normal at the moment, but it's normal to get increased volatility because of Trump, because he does stuff different. He really shakes the market up. That's not going to change. So we are still going to have huge Trump moves. So mean reversion is still going to work fine, but this is why we use ADR. The whole premise of using ADR is that we are using dynamic ranges based on current volatility. It's just that at the moment we're going into sort of very big, strong moves. So that's annoying. I should have taken a partial. So we just pulled back up inside the 30-minute open. It's a big retracement. Was that a lie? Was that fake news? April the 12th, that's tomorrow. Trump envoy Witkoff arrives in Russia. Tariffs are to have catastrophic impact on developing countries, worse than foreign aid cuts. US should bear responsibility for tariff changes. Yep. China inflation seen at 0.4 versus 0.6, obviously, because they're making less money. No longer makes economic sense if the US imposes more tariffs. Seen cutting 1-year loan prime. Don't know quite why that's retraced so hard. I think that was just new leg. So got high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Down there. Euro US dollars flying. Yeah, the US dollar will come down obviously on the reciprocal tariff because it's bad for the US. So everything will be flying against the US. So if you look at pound US, any other US, Aussie New Zealand's pumping as well. Yes, there's your spikes pulling back at the moment. This is the problem with breakout trading. Every strategy has an issue. Breakout trading, the problem with breakout trading is when you take a breakout, you know that a pullback is coming. Yeah, because when something breaks out, it exhausts and mean reverts, and then you get the next leg up. So the hardest part of breakout trading is basically the trailing stop and when to lock in that trailing stop. So I got a locked in profit on this trade here, look, but it was very close to taking me out. But that's the problem with breakout trading. If you get a weak breakout that goes like that, it doesn't work because it's basically just a very weak trend. Trend trading won't work in a weak trend either. So that's where mean reversion works. Yeah. So it's a very, every strategy, there's always something wrong with every strategy. If there was a strategy that was perfect, we'd all be billionaires, wouldn't we? This is why we all system hop. So you got reversal alert going in short there. There's a prime example of one to ignore. Why? Because we're in a massive uptrend against the US dollar. That was the reversal alert to take today. Ignore that one. Don't short against this absolute steam train. Until Trump comes out and says, we'll drop the tariffs back down to 125 to max China and we'll come to the table. Boom, boom. That's what will happen. But you can't time that. So you can't get on the short. By the time the reversals happened, you've missed it. Tough trading times. Maybe the EA is not working. You see the smiling face in MT4? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, you need a smiley face in MT4. I don't quite know what you mean by that. No pressure. Good. No, honestly, I do try and get things out as fast as possible, but there is only me. Don't forget, I'm not a company. I'm just me. So I have 8 hours a day. I spend 4 of it streaming, which leaves me 4 hours to work on strategy development coding. Yeah. A typical coding session, as anybody that programs will tell you, 4 hours is nothing. 4 hours is fixing a bug. Development is a lot different. EQ should take partial profit automatically or it's manual. EA. Do you mean the opening range breakout EA? That will take a partial profit automatically, yeah. When price closes below that line, closes below, not touches, closes below, that is when it will take a partial. Oh, Rich has just asked the question, which I've literally just answered. Is it possible to have a live call? No. If I had a live call with everybody that wanted to talk to me, I'd never literally get anything done, would I? No. But yeah, it's on close. I'll update. I'll tell you again, it's on my list to do. On the EA page for the opening range breakout EA, I've got the video which explains how it works. In here somewhere, it explains about the partial. There. Maybe it doesn't explain because it's a short video this time. Normally I do a really long video explaining the entire logic of everything. So what I've done on this page is put the EA settings here, which explains all of the settings and what all the settings do. So you've got partial profit take. When the EA sets it to true, the EA will place partial profit line on your chart. When price closes beyond the line, the EA will close out a percentage of your trade. Yeah, so it you know, very difficult to explain simply how it works. Apart when it closes beyond the line, it will shut partial. Yeah, people are constantly saying it's hit the line, it hasn't taken a partial. You haven't read, you haven't watched. I can't make people watch and read, but it does say there. So I might put another video on this page, or maybe a logic explanation box or a couple of logic explanation boxes which explain very simply how it works. But you know, I get it. I'm a man. When things go wrong, I go, why has that not worked? When I read the manual, I know, but I read the manual after I use it because I'm a man, and that's the way men do things. A package arrives from IKEA. You unpackage everything, you put the instructions over there, and you start building it. And then you go, there's a bit missing. Oh, it doesn't go there. Yeah, that's what we do, isn't it? But it does say on here exactly how it all works. So, let's close below. And you live stream this. And I live stream what? Elevator Trading Hub, you are not making any sense this morning. Or I'm missing bits of your question. And I live stream this. I don't know what you mean. Sorry, just joined, that's all right. So you asked the question at exactly the right time. I was answering the question exactly as you did it. Read, watched and forgot. We'll have a go back, yeah. But it is what we do. I got a new coffee machine, right? One of those, it was like 450 quid, this coffee machine. And it's a bean to cup one. So you fill it up with beans and it grinds it, puts it in, makes your coffee. And after, I don't know, probably 3 weeks, I was like, it doesn't taste very nice anymore. And I was like, it's really horrible. Open up the manual. You've got to change filters every 2 weeks. You've got to clean out the brewing, what they call the brewing kit, which is this piece that slots out of it. It just needs to be run through water because it gets clogged up with crappy old grinds and stuff. Yeah. It wasn't, what I did was just use the machine. And after 3 weeks, I started blaming the machine for going wrong. Read the manual. It's like, okay, so I do need to look after it. We don't do that, do we? We just use stuff. It's like lawnmower. You get a lawnmower. And you get it out of the box and you mow the lawn for the first time in your brand new lawnmower and you go, yeah, this doesn't cut as low as the last one did. Open the manual. Oh, you can adjust the height. I've already mown the lawn wrongly. Now I will mow the lawn rightly. If we all sat down as men, and this only really applies to men, doesn't it? Women read manuals. I'm not being sexist. It's just the way we are. We are wrong in this particular case. But if we sat down and spent literally 3 minutes flicking through the manual, we would get the gist at least and make a hell of a lot less mistakes, wouldn't we? So I do get it that people question me and I just go, have you watched the video? Yes. Have you watched it not on 150% without your headphones on? No. Do that. It's 4 minutes long. That will answer every question you've got. Well, I'm the same. I do it. Every now and again, I go onto the marketplace and I download some EAs to test out because I'm interested in what they are and what they do and how they work. And I try and backward engineer stuff. And I download stuff and I can't be bothered to watch the video, read the manual because I just want to play around with it. So I watch it go and I think that's absolute crap. And then if you actually read and you go, oh, I see it's doing that. So if I did that, that and that would work better. Oh, yeah. And this is the problem, isn't it? We all download stuff. Like with the position trader EA, people download it and go, doesn't work. Do you know how many inputs are in that? Do you know what they do? No, it just doesn't work. Well, no, it doesn't work as default on the market you put it on the time frame you put it on. It's the wrong time frame. It's the wrong market. It's making a loss on gold. Not very good gold. Anyway, that's us. Human males. There you go. So they just pull back. There is your 3-bar reversal. How's that for a confusing market? Look. 3-bar reversal, followed by a 3-bar reversal. Confusion reigns. Right. So I'm back this afternoon. We'll see how these got on this afternoon. Obviously, if we break this low, there's a very... so this is basically the bounce at support, look, failing. So we should be able to break down at least to there, which is 201.29. So we should be able to get down to there on the DAX today. The FTSE shouldn't have a problem getting to there. You can't see it behind my head, but that is where the support is. In fact, that's first support, isn't it? Yeah, second support is here. So you got 3 levels of support here. So that's that end of day bounce, that sort of dead cat bounce we had yesterday at close. This is all pre-market data, so it's not real, which is why it's always usually within the last half hour's worth of trading. So that is potentially a good support area. And then we've got these areas here. So if we are going to continue to break short, we've got a couple of areas which might well get bought up. So we'll see how we go. I'm still considering taking a partial. In fact, I'm going to do it. Executive decision, just to get the loss back from this morning, just to take the pressure off. And then I'm going to move my partial, which is going to close 75% of the remainder that I have on. So 75% of the 50%. I'm just going to close that out down there, which will be, by the time we get there, will be 800. So I'll be closing another 6. So that'll be another 600 profit down there. I'm just going to move that up a little bit, actually, just to give the candle an opportunity to close below the line at support. Yeah, and we'll see how we get on with the FTSE, but clean breaks again, which is nice. So no loss recovery needed either. Right, so I'm back this afternoon at 2:30. We'll trade the US Open. We'll do very much the same as this morning, a little bit, recap, and obviously just trade the US indices. So this afternoon, we've got impact basically from PPI and from Michigan. So PPI is an hour before the Open. Michigan is 30 minutes after the Open. University of Michigan really, really moves the market. Not specifically because of what is in the sentiment index, but more likely because of it's Friday afternoon, it's 3 o'clock. We need to get these orders in, boys. And they use the liquidity of University of Michigan to dump large orders. So there's good potential for movement there. And Trump will have been awake for about 2 hours. And he will have been sitting there mulling over China and probably reacting. So there's a high probability of another shot back from the US. If he's got half a brain, what he will do is tell all of his cronies to sell the stock market, and he will fire back tomorrow morning while the stock market is shut. And then on Monday morning, when that gap down happens, they will sell the lot that they've just sold, or either buy back the lot they just sold. Yeah. So we'll see. But obviously that would be insider trading, and that's fully illegal. So there's no way he would do that, obviously. But if I was Trump, that's what I would do. But anyway, but I'm not Trump, so I'm not going to do that. I will see you this afternoon. Elevator Trading Hub. If you want to contact in Discord, that's the best way. I don't quite know what you're asking and what you're asking about there. So better to do it in Discord. Okay, have a good day. I'll see you this afternoon if I do. If not, I'll be back on Monday morning. Have a good day.